Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable. Ah.
Welcome to Space News! I'm Braden.
I'm Dan.
And we're up here in the Orbiting Meteor Studios. Let me patch in Zell.
Oh.
There he is.
Hello.
What's going on, Zell?
Wow, you guys look good up there.
It's it's lonely, a little cold up here, but the view's pretty nice. Well, let's get right into a little bit of Space News. All right, first up we had truly historic milestone. The James Webb Telescope has been fully deployed. I guess now we're just waiting for pictures, or if it works.
Yeah, it's got to run through a couple checks before it does that. We got another couple months waiting until it's fully functional.
Right. So its primary mirror has been fully deployed. The major components are all now deployed with this like the last step pretty much, right? So it's operational. Now we got some system checks, and then we start seeing some amazing, because isn't this thing going like a
million miles?
Yeah.
Away.
It's hitting it's setting itself up in one of the Lagrange points, which there are 5 of around between the sun and Earth. And once it gets there, it'll maintain that little orbit, like it's a gravitational pocket of stability out there. Once it gets there, it'll run through its like the little motors. It's got to fine tune the mirrors inside of it. The like 18 segment primary mirror that it's got. All of those things are on independent little mechanisms. So they all have to kind of like get a couple fine tunes, and then they flex and bend it, and then get some pretty snappy pictures. I think there's a couple. It said about like several months they're looking at. So
right. So it's sitting in like a perfect balance of gravity between the Earth and sun. So it just always is in the same spot in the sky.
Yeah, it's like right in the shadow of Earth is where they kind of wanted to put it. So it's going to be like right there, kind of always in that one position. So it'll be able to take like a lot of like pictures from that one spot.
Man, what a piece of engineering.
Yeah, it's neat. It'll be up there for, I think they said, it's like maybe like 15, 20 years. It's going to be up there taking pictures.
I'm curious to see if like in like a really dark night, if you'll be able to like see its glow like a star, and if you'll be able to track it on like a star view or something. I wonder if you can do that already. Actually, I haven't even checked.
I haven't checked, but yeah,
it'd be really small.
It would be,
yeah, but maybe you see a little flicker, right? Like
you might be able to see. Yeah, I guess if it's stationary though, you're not going to see like a moving satellite. It's going to be a slow rotation. You have to like set up a time lapse or something.
Yeah, probably.
But it's pretty sweet. I mean, it's recording in infrared, so the pictures we see are going to be rendered.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's the best way to
classic.
Well, that's the best way to
let NASA edit them all up. Classic.
All doctored images, but that's the best way to observe for potential like other planets, right?
Right. It's the best way to Because it's really like, it's not going to be taking direct photos. Like you're going to take like a snap photo picture. It's basically it's got a near infrared camera and a near infrared spectrograph that are going to turn on. And the spectrograph is the best way to kind of analyze like the atmospheres and like the makeups of atmospheric like components in a planet, since pretty much the sun hits those atmospheres and that light that passes through it will be able to, and NASA can analyze the way the light changes as it passes through the atmosphere, and you can kind of tell what the chemical makeup of an atmosphere is, of what a planet is. So give us a pretty neat look at probably a bunch of planets that may or may not have atmospheres like ours.
Super cool.
Very cool. Next up, we have the Perseverance has run into a problem on Mars. A little bit of pebbles, as you see right here in the picture here. I guess communication obviously is delayed between Mars, so it sent a message back saying that it was having some issues, and NASA scientists basically said, "Sort it out yourself. Figure it out." And so this is the image we got back, and as you can see, that is the mechanism that the drill bits go in there.
Yeah, I think so.
And somehow during one of its collections, a little bit of pebbles have got in there. So it's funny how it's amazing that we can sort out these kind of problems this far away from something. But as of right now, like, this is a pretty hefty problem. I've got a recommendation. They hammer it in reverse, hammer it forward, just hammer the brakes, kind of redneck style.
Shake it.
Yeah, shake it loose. I like that.
Yeah.
Man, that's insane that you're communicating with the drone. That's, how far is Mars? Like 350 million kilometers away or something ridiculous. You're communicating with a drone to fix its own problem on a different planet.
Yeah, and I guess this carousel here is designed to be able to operate with some debris like that, but these two little guys right there on the screen, they're a little too much. So they're trying to figure out what to do. They're not quite sure yet, but I'm sure they'll sort this out sooner than later. Last up, this is great. The moon house. We talked about this. Moon Hut.
Yep.
It was 700 meters away from the Chinese rover, and they were going to bounce it over there to see exactly what the moon house was, what it is. Upon closer observation, it turns out to be a rock hut, and closer observation turns out to be a rock.
Not even a very big rock, they say.
No,
a little, which is surprising. Like that's the culprit right there.
That a lot of people don't realize, like, how different things look on the moon. Just the fact of like the way that light acts in the atmosphereless environment. Like, it can make everything look really weird. Like it makes angles look a lot sharper. It makes like the shadows look a lot more, like a lot different than you would expect them to be here on Earth. So like a lot of these kinds of things. I mean, I'm amazed that this is the only thing that's kind of popped up that's been kind of weird, or the only thing that we've seen anyways.
Well, dude, it's so weird. The original picture, it's like a horizon shot, and whatever's on the horizon looks drastically bigger than anything else there. So that's what got them interested. So they crawl their little rover over there over a few weeks. And then when they take another picture, it looks like it doesn't make sense how that attracted the interest.
Well, I think it was like on a tip of a crater is what it was. Like it was like on the lip of like a shallow crater or something. And that made it look like it was like standing out above there. When the light hit it, it just looked like a little bit different, didn't come in all the way.
Or they're hiding the moon hut. They don't want you to know what's in it.
Or they're hiding. Yeah,
that's what they found a chest.
They had all this interest. They crawled over there. It was a moon hut, and they said, "Well,
a monolith.
We can't tell people about this, so it's just a rock now." It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a little strange that's it doesn't. Seeing that and then finding out what it is doesn't give me much hope for the face on Mars or all the pyramids on Mars. But I guess we'll wait and see for that stuff.
Well, those ones are from space, though. They're looking down. So you got a little more reference, at least. This one, I mean, I thought for sure we were onto something here when we first looked at this. I was like, oh, man, that's super cool. Maybe not nothing artificial, but some type of like new like rock formation on the moon or something. I thought, but nope, just a pebble, pretty much.
Next up, so what were you gonna say, Zell?
Said, or they're hiding it.
It wouldn't be that hard to point that rover and be like, all right, just say it's that rock.
It's that rock there. Yeah, exactly.
We're taking their word for it. We're not up there. So until we get up there. Next up, we got a little bit of a conspiracy roundup. We're going to round up some conspiracies and stuff that's been going on the last couple of weeks. First up, we're dealing with the artist formerly known as Prince. We've got Prince Andrew has basically lost all his royal titles and military affiliations as he goes to face trial as a private citizen in the United States for allegedly, his dealings with Epstein and I think she was 17. So this is kind of more of the fallout from all the Epstein stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see that Buckingham Palace and stuff is kind of obviously they're distancing themselves from Andrew. So is he going to be left out to dry, so to speak, or because I know the trial, like he was trying to get it thrown out because he's like, well, I actually can't sweat, and this lady said I was really sweaty, and I don't sweat.
I can't sweat at all. Zero.
Yeah, he was saying he had a condition.
Well, you don't reptiles, they don't sweat.
That is true.
They do not sweat. They expel their heat through their skin and absorb heat through their skin. So in that sense, he's not incorrect. I believe. But I think this is obviously it looks
the legal team for the accuser, they demanded proof. They actually sent like a demanded proof of him that he doesn't sweat. Like that was actually in the news. I thought that was a pretty smart move. It's pretty good fuck you move.
Yeah. Well, he was sweating as soon as they asked for it. He's like, oh shit.
And they're like, well, prove he can't sweat. Like,
yeah. It's ludicrous.
Yeah, I just think like this announcement of like, oh, we're moving ties with Prince Andrew. I think this is all a publicity thing. We're going to look better, but he's 95. We're going to say we're partying with him, but really nothing's going to change behind the scenes. I don't think this is just they're trying to save face. Like, oh, we didn't know he's such a fucking weirdo. That's what I think.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Mexican Gandalf is saying we're going to have a bad time next year.
The Warlock of Mexico. Warlock.
The Grand Warlock. Excuse you.
My apologies. Don't come after me.
Yeah.
Mr. Grand Warlock.
So, I just learned about this guy a couple of days ago. He is the self-proclaimed clairvoyant known as Antonio Vasquez. And apparently he's been doing this for over 3 decades. He's been doing this for 3 years. Every year he puts forth the predictions just about, at the beginning of each year. He reads tarot, like tarot cards. He brings a deck of tarot cards with him, sits in front of a bunch of reporters, answers questions, and entertains reporters about their questions for the future and their predictions about last year. This year, I watched some bits of the actual press conference that he did. This guy's awesome. This guy is straight up great. His beard is majestic. The dude is amazing. I don't want Santa Claus bringing my gifts. I want Antonio Vasquez to bring me my gifts.
The Mexican Grand Warlock.
He sat there. He drew his tarot cards, explaining the significance between each draw and talking about what it is. But they said this one was a little bit more somber than the other ones because he was musing a lot about actual current world affairs. He cautioned about things about climate change, saying that New York's going to experience probably some severe flooding or something at some point, some more flooding in the coming year. So assured that he assured
just
that
watched
Mexican,
2012 or what, starring John Cusack.
He did assure the Mexican media that Mexico will weather the storm and that will be in the quote in the first 15 places of those that are not so bad.
He's in the top 15 countries that don't get it too bad.
Top 15, not too bad.
Not too bad.
And of course, they asked him about the most important of predictions for the next year, Mexico's chances in the 2022 World Cup.
Ooh.
Vasquez was made a little bit of a disappointing prediction, as he indicated that the national team will have a lot of fun, but they will lose most of the games and fail to get out of the group stage of the tournament. So don't put your money on Mexico.
That's the news that everyone tunes into the Warlock for, is pro level soccer predictions.
Like when you sent me that article, I was like, they give this guy news time? Like,
yeah.
How
it was on the Associated Press. Like this.
How much has he been right enough that they've been like, all right, well, hey, give this guy some. Has he been right as much as the Simpsons?
No, actually, no. I think the Simpsons is a bit more accurate. But I mean, he's made some predictions last year. He's kind of been, I don't know. I think he's probably like 70-30. He predicted that Trump was going to get reelected. That didn't happen.
Hey. We predicted he wouldn't win, so
we're about the same as the Warlock. No, I like his general predictions, though. I think he plays it safe, saying that the world will continue to suffer from climate change. I mean, that's a pretty fair prediction. So he's right in the ball.
He said the United States is going to go through some economic turmoil, which is like, when isn't that the case?
Did he not mention COVID? Did he say, what did he say about COVID? Are we going to get through it this year?
Well, he made his prediction about COVID, like when it started coming up, 2021, he said that it will be, I think he was quoted as saying it will be mastered in like early May
of last year.
Yeah.
He's a year off.
But like, that's when cases were going down.
That's true.
They did go down in like May. So
maybe he's got it off by a year. It looks like by May this year, we might have it, hopefully.
I mean, maybe they didn't, he was making the prediction about OG COVID and not Omicron.
Yeah. So, Omicron. Or Delta Cron.
He didn't have the card he didn't have the Omicron card in his deck. He had the old one.
Next up, we've got if you've ever wanted to go visit the gates of hell, you better go quick because the Turkmenistan president wants to close that sucker. You know what's the most surprising thing about this? I've known about this, but I didn't know this thing has been actively on fire since like the 60s.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It's just a giant asshole. Like, you can see the people in there for reference. It's a giant asshole, just inferno on fire.
Yep. Its origins are largely a mystery. They don't know nobody knows exactly when it formed or who did it or who's responsible for this thing.
Well, that's also I had a theory on that, because one of the theories is that it was a Russian drill team looking for natural gas that ignited something and then just packed up and left and took off. And it would make sense that like no one knows and no one wants to come forth, because that seems like a little bit of a liability, doesn't it? I mean, look at that thing. She on fire. It's been on fire for 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
now they want to close it.
It's big though. Like, so if there was say it was a drilling team and you're drilling down for natural gas, the drill bit's not, how big across is this thing? It looks like it's a huge giant cavern, like is on fire.
But here's the thing. I wonder if there was a pocket originally, like maybe it wasn't that big, and the initial like explosion or blast when it ignited created that crater.
Yeah, it just like exploded underground and then big old sinkhole and then just a bunch of stuff collapsed into it.
Maybe the pressure of the gas was was elevating the ground, and when they drilled through it, it just collapsed or something. Yeah.
Right. Or the simplest answer, it's the gate to hell, and it's always been there.
Or if you enter it and you just proceed down, you get there, I guess. But
I'm going to tell you this: if you jump in, you're going to die. So
Grand Warlock Braden with the great prediction.
Shortcut to the underworld.
If you dive into a fiery hole, you will die.
Yes, you will die. If you're going to hell, I don't know, but you're definitely close to it.
You're dead.
Up next, why don't we get into some UFO reviews?
All right.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today. The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
I purposely
my
did
favorite.
not pre-watch them. I'm waiting.
Did you? All right.
I'm waiting for amazement.
Prepare to be amazed. We got a couple good ones actually. I'm gonna kind of move this. Let's just switch over so we can get right into a closer look. All right, this first one here. This was submitted December 3rd, 2021 from Marion. What's IA, Dan? Iowa. Silent bright light like the ISS, but was under the clouds. No blinking lights. And was moving very fast. Let's take a peek at this thing.
Get a glimpse of this warlock.
All right. Well, it's definitely something zipping there.
Got like most of you are listening audio, but there is a video version. You could go on YouTube. It's a orb kind of.
Yeah, we're just seeing a quick, basically a bright white light. And it can we agree here that first off, whoever filmed this landscape, thank you. What we're seeing here is it's either dusk. It looks kind of like dusk to me, like it's starting to get dark.
About sunset. Yeah.
I think that's fair. Whatever this light is definitely underneath the clouds, clipping along pretty good because we have tree for reference. But you know what? Like for me, I'm like, this thing's just zipping. Like, could it be just a drone? Like they say silent, but it's small enough. What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, I mean, silent is tough to judge sometimes at distance, right? That could be a plane.
Yeah.
A smaller plane. It could be a larger plane just way off but it does seem to moving across the sky pretty quick.
Pretty quick, but it's no erratic movements, no disappearing, no reappearing, just a steady straight. It looks like it's moving in a straight line.
Yep. With the reflection off the setting sun, kind of making it seem like a orb shape is what it seems like.
Yeah. Maybe that's even a bit of reflection. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought automatically. Cause a lot of these, when you look at these UFO videos, a lot of people comment on these ones, people saying that, it's true, during dusk, the way the light hits it, a lot of things from underneath as opposed to, on the top of it. So it's a lot of times you'll get like a really brilliant reflection off the bottom of a body of a craft or something like that. I mean, definitely it just looks like a very bright orb kind of zipping through the sky there, but it doesn't seem to be moving faster than like a potentially man-made craft. It seems to just be clipping along pretty fast, but no erratic movements, none of the any of the observables that you would get with a supposed UFO.
Nope, I agree.
0 to gimbal for me. I'm giving this a 1. I look at it and I don't think this is something unknown. I'd
give it a 2. Like I'd go on a 2 on this one. It is. I mean, it's definitely interesting. Like the way it kind of when I watch it, and I try to look at it closely. I don't know if it's just my eyes or something, but it seems like it's kind of like. It almost seems like when it passes, it seems like it passes through some of the clouds and seems to kind of illuminate them from inside or underneath. Like it seems like it might be giving off its own light. So for me, some of that seems to be when I look at it. Like, I think that maybe it's giving off its own light.
I'm going to go right in the middle. I'm going to give it a 1.5 just because my heart tells me that's a man-made craft. That's a plane or a large drone. Giving it a 2 for Dan. I mean, yeah, if it's illuminating like that itself, then that would be a little more, I'd be a little more interested. But just how it's traveling, it seems like a plane, but that doesn't mean that if that was a UFO, say it was an ET craft, like if you're trying to blend into like the surrounding traffic, why not just fly in a straight line like a regular old aircraft?
Yeah, no, true.
I'll go with the 1.5.
Kudos though, excellently filmed.
Well done.
Landscape, we love it. Next up, we're going across the pond to Great Britain. Stoke-on-Trent is Great Britain is where this is filmed. Walking home when they looked up and saw these objects. They couldn't identify them, so they started to record them until they went out of sight. Without further ado, let's take a peek at this one. We've got two unison black dots, like in what appears to be another dusk sky. They're just moving. They look tethered, almost like whatever they are.
Oh yeah, they look
like they're up there,
these
but
are
they're
definitely farther away.
Yeah, and they're just, it's an interesting, because they look like they're moving together, but maintaining a certain distance apart from each other. Like one's not breaking away. They seem to just kind of moving like that. It's
Are they
interesting to
moving or are
see.
they like hovering? It's tough to tell.
It's hard to see. It's hard to see if that's the cloud movement there, because we don't get a tree. Again, kudos landscape. We love it. Zoom out a little bit. Get us that reference. We have it there. So let's watch it from the trees here. See if we can kind of see some movement. They look to be drifting like really slowly. That's what my eyes say. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely two just small black dots hovering right on top of each other, and yeah, almost in a formation of some type. So it's an interesting video for sure. I can't really say, like, my eyes kind of want to be like, and it might just be that's just a trick of the eyes, because what I'm expecting to see is like wings flapping. Like I kind of think I see movement at some points, but then it might be just when they zoom in and stuff, because I think it might be, I want to be like, oh, those are birds just soaring on a thermal, like they're just hanging out, doing their thing. But they kind of stay. It's hard to see because he's so far away, and you can only really see them when he zooms in. Yeah, and
but they seem to be like, the distance between them like doesn't move. Like one, you think of it as birds. Like mind you, this video is only like 35 seconds long, so maybe shortly after this they could move. But it's like, I would expect in this same that one would like move or dip or do something.
And he said the whole video, like the video just ends, at least the one that we have, like the video just ends. He says he filmed them until they went out of sight, but the video like is still,
the video
like, they're still there, and then it cuts off. Like so where's the rest of the video? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, we'd like to see the whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. They seem to be, they don't get any closer together. Seems like they're operating in unison, whatever they are. But yeah, not long enough of a video to really, and obviously these are pretty far away, so you can barely see them until you zoom in. So probably you're on the ground, you're looking up, and you can see these with your naked eye pretty well. But when you put it on the camera, you can't really see, so you got to zoom in, so you don't get any definition of a outline.
Yeah, it's 0 to gimbal for me. Looking at this, the strangeness is that for me, it's they appear to be, I don't want to say tethered, but I just say tethered because they maintain a distance and they don't deviate from that. That's strange to me. The description raises some red flags for me, where it says I filmed them till they're out of sight, and the video clearly cuts before that. So whether or not this was something I can, we've been criticized for posting a couple UFO videos where people are like, these are Mylar balloons. I'm going to say that these probably aren't. So I'm going to give this one another one out of gimbal.
I'd probably go with a 1. Like what these are, I'm not quite sure, but I don't feel like they're extraterrestrial craft. I feel like there's something, because they're just kind of sitting there, but they're still moving. Like there's still some tiny movements, but they don't look like they're intelligently controlled. They're not doing anything that I wouldn't expect something kind of. They could possibly be balloons. Like I'm just like caught next to each other. Like I don't know.
I'm going higher. I'm going with a 2 on this one, and reason I give it is these are less identifiable than the last video to me. The last one really looked like a plane. These ones, if they were like, say they were little UFOs and they're just sitting hovering, maybe because we always say like, oh, sometimes they know when you're watching, so they like go stationary, and maybe when they put down their phone, these things zipped off. Who knows? I'm just saying possibly. This looks a little more unidentified than the previous one, which looked like a plane to me.
I will 100% agree with you. I maybe should have given it a more more, but I'm going to stick with mine to give. But I agree, it's more unidentifiable.
To keep the mystery alive for me, I'm saying it's a 2.
All right, this next one we got. This is from Cincinnati, Ohio. The submitter said, we were driving to the grocery store when turning into the lot. I thought I saw a black plane or helicopter. I wasn't sure what since I was driving, but when we turned, my 15-year-old daughter and I both saw the 4 white lights hovering in the mostly cloudless evening sky. There were some high, thin clouds, but no inclement weather. There were 4 white circular orbs just hovering silently. We parked and she immediately got out of the car and began recording on her iPhone. During that time, the orbs continued to hover and occasionally would blink out and back. Eventually, a 5th orb appeared out of nowhere. We quit recording because they took off northeast and we couldn't keep up. They disappeared.
Cool.
So let's take a peek from this one from Cincinnati. So
4 glowing objects.
4 lights spaced out evenly, like 2. It looks like 2 and 2, but close together. They appear to be. Are they stationary? Or are they just?
No, they're moving. They just seem to be just standing. And
they're gone.
And then they just blink out, and not in unison either. Like they don't blink out all in one go. They kind of blink out like one at a time.
Oh,
like
weird. It's like from here, like from this where we initially see them here, like you can really space it out that this is 2 and 2. Right. And like the 2 middle ones are kind of close together. But as this video keeps going, like we see them kind of drift apart. It looks like some erratic movement by some of them too. They almost look shaky. And then boom, boom, boom. They all just disappear. That is freaky. Only knock. Come on. Flip that to landscape.
In a wider angle there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the fact that they disappear, then they reappear and they show back up right there.
Boom.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's for me.
Oh, and there's
it's like
the 5th one right there.
And there's a 5th orb that appears like over to the side of the frame and then comes in. And it's like, part of me wants to be like, that's a plane, but also like it's way too close. Like the way that they're spaced, it's like they're way too close together. Like you'd see a plane, like you'd see the rest of the plane. You'd see it.
If you could see
there.
all 4 lights of the plane, you should be able to see the body if it's that close.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I pause it here and you give a close look, can you see that black dot in the center? I know it's going to be tiny on your guys' screen, but there appears to be a darker spot on the screen.
Smudge on the lens.
Maybe, I don't know. Just that I was trying to see if that's something, because this is so like, it's such a wild video to me. I have literally no explanation as to.
Like it definitely moves. It moves like a plane, like a large aircraft. Like to me, like that seems like it's a large aircraft just kind of banking or something like that. But when it just disappears, like the lights disappear one at a time, and not like in a smooth like 1, 2, 3, 4, not in sequence. They just kind of like disappear. Like it's the right one, then the far left one, and then that's kind of interesting.
Well, and the other thing for me with this is that, if, Dan said this would be a large aircraft, but based on the size of those lights and how it looks, there's not many clouds in the sky, and it's not quite dark. It looks like it's getting dark. Again, it's dusk, but I think you would see a craft that big. If that was one big craft, you would see an airplane that was that big in the sky right there. I think we can all agree that you should see it if that is a big plane.
Well, also like lights on an aircraft, like you have like red, which are like anti-collision lights, and you have green, and you have the white lights, and you have strobe light. So, but those all seem just illuminated lights, like not colored, like they're white.
Also, they're like, in the descriptions, they said they followed it till it went to the northeast and they couldn't keep up. But I'm like, video again just like cuts off. Like,
yeah.
It is weird that the lights just all disappear. So like, if you're trying to reason it, it'd be like, okay, that went through a cloud that we can't really see, because then it pops back up. So I don't know if like there's a cloud, but because right now there's a dark cloud. So maybe behind it, there's something else that we just can't see on this camera. But my first thought was these were satellites, and they went they dipped like over the horizon or something, and that's why they went out. But then they came back, and I was like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense.
Well, and the problem with the satellite explanation is they come back below the clouds.
Well, what looks like below the clouds.
Yeah, of the three, this is one of the three of our series of UFO videos. Like this one, I think is the most interesting to me. Just the fact that you have lights, orbs of light that just seem to disappear and then reappear out of nowhere. Like there's no identifiable body like that they're all connected to. It's just orbs of light that just disappear and then reappear, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, and you can't even look at it like, because the way the lights go out, if you were trying to say like, oh, this is something to do with the sun, they go out and they like it's not a pattern. It's like 1, 2, 3 that you would see if that was the case. It's sporadic. This is truly a fascinating video.
Yeah, I like it. And then that fifth one kind of shoots up on the left there.
Zero to gimbal. You know what? I'm handing out my first gimbal, boys.
Gimbal.
I think this is a bona fide UFO. This is a
UFO,
some sort of
a singular, or is this multiple craft?
multiple.
Okay.
I'll go with one under. I'll still go on the skeptical side. I'll still say 4 on the. I'll give it a 4, which is it's pretty good. It's definitely a UFO. I'm not sure what it is. Like I've never seen anything, and it doesn't really check any boxes of things that I've seen before. But it still doesn't really do any of the observables. But I have no idea what it is. There's again no displays of like anti-gravitic force or sudden stop and moving. It's like when I look at it, it reminds me of the movement of just a large aircraft, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I'm going with 4 as well, and I think because whatever these are reflecting light. I don't think these are actually like navigation lights. I think it's reflecting light, and they dip into a part of the cloud for a second so you can't see it, and they pop back out. So I think there's 4. Information, whatever they are, and then there's a 5th above, separate later in the video. So I'm going with a 4 to 5 gimbals.
That's that's a very interesting video. One of the better ones we've ever had. Let's bring it back to the studio here. That's the UFO weekly review. I mean, that last video was something special. I mean, very few times do we get really ones that are like. I mean, a lot of times you can go like, okay, I think that's a plane. I think that's this, but I have no explanation for that.
Yeah, no, that was a cool one for sure. More of those.
Yeah.
More of those.
We get all our videos from MUFON. So if you want to take a peek at videos and you want to search the database, you can. Just head to MUFON.com. That's it for Space News this week. If you enjoyed it, give us a like and follow. Leave a comment what you think. If you want us to change. We're the Alien Theorists, live from orbiting Meteor Studios. And as we always say, keep those eyes on the skies. Peace out.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.